A $2 candle can heat a hunting blind for over 8 hours. It puts out enough warmth to keep a small shelter above freezing. Shepherds in the Scottish Highlands used this method before roads, and the modern outdoor industry buried it under propane and gear. They sell you portable heaters that cost over $200. They sell you fuel canisters you have to replace every single trip. They sell you insulated suits that weigh more than your pack does, and a single tea candle with a clay pot beats most of that noise. This is the story of the cheapest camp heater ever buried on Earth. The story of how a flame smaller than your thumb heated a shelter, and why the gear industry made sure you never heard about it again. Welcome to Silent Hunt Society, where buried knowledge comes back. If these forgotten outdoor methods matter to you, hit subscribe now. This is where we dig up what the modern gear industry tried to erase. Let me take you back to 1891 in the Scottish moors. Highland shepherds spent weeks in stone shelters called Bothys. Winter nights dropped to -10 degrees with wind off the sea. There was no propane, no battery heater, no insulated sleeping bag. They carried tallow candles, a small iron pot, and dry wool blankets. The candle burned inside the pot. The pot absorbed the radiant heat. The heated pot then radiated that warmth outward in every direction. A single candle raised the air inside a small bothy by 10 degrees. That was enough to keep a man from shivering through the dark hours. French mountain guides in the Alps used the same logic with clay. They placed a candle inside an overturned terracotta plant pot dish. The clay absorbed the flame heat and released it slowly like a stove. Swiss border patrols used candle pots in stone watchposts all winter. Finnish reindeer herders packed candles and tin cans for their lavu. Norwegian hunters carried beeswax stubs and flat rocks for warmth. Every cold weather culture with candle access figured this out fast. It was not a luxury. It was survival logic refined by freezing men. The knowledge spread across borders because it worked every time, and it cost almost nothing compared to hauling firewood up a ridge. Inuit hunters in northern Canada heated igloos with seal oil lamps. The principle was identical, a small flame heating a thermal mass. Russian trappers in Siberia used candle stubs inside clay crocks. Japanese mountain monks warmed stone huts with wax and iron bowls. The pattern repeated on every frozen continent with the same result. Wherever men froze, the cheapest heat source was a flame and a mass. This video is only the surface of what the outdoor industry buried. High collected everything modern gear culture tried to make you forget, all packed inside the complete forbidden hunter's vault right now. Sub-zero heat methods built from simple common-sense field logic. Dead wood firecraft most modern campers never learn or even see. Invisible camp setups that keep your footprint low in the timber. Appalachian meat storage methods that still make full sense today. Ghost scent methods that make white-tailed deer miss your entire trail. Silent stalking mechanics old hunters used without saying one word. 8 powerful modules in one single place, no fluff and no filler. The link is sitting right in the description below this video now. But stay here with me. The video is only getting started right now. Now let me show you why a candle and a pot works this well at all. A standard tea candle produces about 75 thermal watts. That is not much in an open room, but inside a tent it compounds. A 4-person tent has roughly 40 cubic feet of trapped air. 75 watts inside that small volume raises temp steadily. The clay pot acts as a thermal mass absorbing the direct flame heat. Without the pot, the candle heats a narrow cone of air above it. With the pot, the heat spreads outward in a full sphere around it. A study from the University of Alberta tested this in 2000. They measured a 9-degree increase inside a nylon tent in 1 hour. The candle burned for over 8 hours on one standard tea light. No fuel canister, no battery, no noise, no carbon monoxide risk. Compare that to a portable propane heater that costs $150 new. The propane heater needs a $20 fuel canister every weekend. Over one hunting season, that adds up to over $300. The candle and pot setup costs $2 and lasts the same night. The thermal mass principle is the same one behind old wood stoves. Cast iron absorbs the flame heat and releases it long after burning. Clay and terracotta do the same thing at a fraction of the weight. Brick ovens in Europe work on this exact principle even right now. The science is not new. The application for camping was just buried. And here is the part that makes the gear industry math fall apart. A pack of 100 tea candles costs about $8 total. That is enough heat for over 50 camping nights in cold weather. 50 nights of propane would cost you over $1,000 easy. The ratio is 125 to 1 in favor of candles. If you made it this far, you already understand more about heat. Subscribe and share this with someone who still hunts the cold way. The full vault link is sitting right in the description for you now. Now stay with me. The next part is what should make you think hard. So why does nobody in the outdoor industry teach this method now? Why did this simple heat trick vanish from every camping handbook? Here is where things stop making sense if you follow the money. The portable heater market is worth over $600 million a year. That money comes from propane units, battery packs, and fuel refills. Every single one of those products needs you to keep buying more. A candle and a clay pot breaks the entire resupply chain in one move. You cannot build a subscription model around a $2 tea light. You cannot sell extended warranties on a terracotta plant pot dish. You cannot run a brand ambassador program for a piece of burned wax. The entire outdoor heating model depends on fuel dependency forever. Propane runs out. Batteries die. Fuel canisters empty in the cold. And every time that happens, you drive back to the store and pay up. A candle pot heater asks nothing from you except a match to light it. That is the worst product a gear company could ever let you discover. So the method got buried inside old survival manuals nobody reads. It got mocked as a hippie trick or a Pinterest craft project hoax. It got dismissed by influencers who get paid to promote gear brands. And millions of hunters sit freezing in blinds spending real money. Spending money on solutions that a shepherd solved centuries ago. The outdoor industry did not conspire in a dark room to hide this. They did something quieter. They just never mentioned it at all. Silence is the cheapest form of suppression the industry has, and it worked for decades until someone decided to say it out loud. Every winter, a new wave of hunters packs propane into the backcountry. They carry extra weight. They carry extra cost. They carry extra risk. A propane leak inside a tent can kill a man before he wakes up cold. A candle pot heater has zero pressurized gas and zero explosion risk. The safety edge alone should have kept this method alive forever. But the industry does not profit from selling you peace of mind. But safe and cheap is a combination the gear industry cannot sell you. Here is exactly what to do before your next cold weather camp trip. Buy a pack of standard tea candles from any dollar store nearby. Get one small terracotta plant pot, about 4 inches in diameter. Get one terracotta saucer that fits over the top of the pot clean. Place the candle on a flat, stable surface inside your tent or blind. Light the candle and set the terracotta pot upside down over it. Leave a gap at the bottom so air feeds the flame from underneath. Place the saucer on top of the upturned pot to trap heat inside. Within 20 minutes, the clay pot will be warm to the touch easy. Within 40 minutes, you will feel the air temperature start to rise. The pot radiates heat outward in all directions around the shelter. One tea candle burns for about 8 hours on a calm night indoors. You can run 2 candles side by side for a larger tent or shelter. That doubles your thermal output to 150 watts. Never leave the candle unattended while you sleep in any shelter. Always keep the setup on a flat metal tray or a stone slab base. Keep the flame away from tent walls, sleeping bags, and loose gear. Ventilate the shelter slightly by cracking a vent flap at the top. A retired elk hunter in Montana used this setup for 6 fall trips. He hunted out of a canvas wall tent in the Bitterroot Wilderness area. He never carried a propane tank up the mountain trail one single time. His total heating cost for 6 cold hunting seasons was under $20. Compare that to the $1,200 propane would have cost. That is the math the outdoor industry never puts on a product label. Another bow hunter in Idaho ran the same setup in a ground blind. He spent 3 full weeks chasing mule deer in late November cold. His blind stayed above 40 degrees on every single morning sit. He killed a heavy 4-point buck on the final morning of the trip. His total heating cost for the entire trip was under $3. I need to be honest with you about one real limitation of this now. A candle pot heater will not heat a large cabin or a base camp tent. It works best in small spaces like a hunting blind or a bivvy setup. You still need proper insulation and a good sleeping bag for rest. But for taking the edge off a freezing night in a small camp space, nothing cheaper exists, nothing simpler exists, and nothing is older. This knowledge did not die in the stone Bothys of the Highlands. It waited under layers of propane ads and battery heater campaigns. It waited for someone to pull it back into the cold hunting world. If this video changed how you think about staying warm in the field, subscribe and share it with the next hunter who camps the cold way. Every share preserves what the modern gear culture tried to erase. The full Forbidden Hunters Vault link is right in the description. Inside that vault are 7 more buried methods, just like this one. The next vault opens soon, and what is inside cuts even much deeper. A $2 candle outperformed a $200 propane heater. That single fact should change how you pack for every cold camp trip. The mountains do not care what brand you carry in your heavy pack. They only care if you know what the old men already figured out. And now you do. That is the difference the industry never wanted.